Hi, I'm Natalie, and today we are going to make the Vivian from Swoon Patterns. I will be fast forwarding the cutting out, but I'm going to do it on the camera. So in case you need any help with that, go ahead and watch, and if you don't, you can just go to the next chapter. I will be using Anna Maria quilting cotton for this bag. This is my, in fact, let me take you overhead. This is my exterior. You know, I wanted to show you that our turquoise cork goes with this indelible very nicely. And I just had my lining here. Here it is. I'm going to use this for my lining. I am going to do the piping, so I've got this Wright's pre-made piping that I'm going to use, as well as foam interfacing and this. This stuff is a little bit different than SF-101, but I had a bolt sitting there and I wanted to use it up. So it's a fusible. I don't remember what it's called specifically, but it feels just like SF-101. So that's what will be in your Anna Maria box in case you are subscribed. I also have a navy blue zipper. This is So Hungry Hippie. All this material is from my shop, sohungryhippie.com. And I'll be using the rectangle rings as called for in the pattern. If you don't want to use rectangle rings, you can do D rings or you can leave them off. It's really up to you. Okay, I've got my machine threaded with a light pale pink color because I do want you to see the stitching for the most part so you can follow along easily. Other than that, I think we need to get going. Let's do it. And I'm making the handbag size. To speed things up, I like to fuse my SF-101 or whatever interfacing you're using to the wrong side of the fabric and then cut out my shapes. So I'm gonna put my ironing pad under here. High heat, and here we go. Prepping often takes longer than any other step, and it's okay. Take your time. If you need to put on a podcast or a Netflix show, do it, and take your time with the prep. Because if you can get the prep done correctly, it makes the results so much better. If you get a wrinkle, just pull it and refuse. Oh, this is the fold. So now we need to measure and cut some pieces that are on page 1. I'm making the handbag size. I'm gonna take my pen and circle handbag so I remember. And then let's see, handles and connectors. Cut 2 lining, cut 2, okay, so that's lining. So 3 by 40. Okay, so usually quilting cotton is 44 inches across this way. So I'm gonna fold it in half so that it's easier for me to cut the full strip. And I'm gonna trim off this selvage real quick and move my already cut pieces so I don't cut them inadvertently. Grab my ruler. And here we go. There's the zipper pocket. I'll Franken interface this. You know how I do that. Okay, so there's the pocket. Just cleaning it up. And these are the handles and connectors. So you're going to interface the next handle as well, but I won't make you sit through that. I am, however, going to trim up all my edges. Any peeking out, interfacing, I just want to clean it up. All right. So I'm going to interface my second long strip, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll get going on this. I do want to show you this part for the top panel. We need to fold it on that dashed line when we cut out the foam. So just going to fold it back. I already cut this piece out. Oh, I didn't cut that right because I didn't do it on the fold. I'm trying to piece together my scrap foam pieces. So, you know, I have all these scraps everywhere. So I'm just gonna use them up. Folding on that dashed line. This end is on the fold. My straight edges are lined up. There's one. And line this back up. Actually, I'm going to utilize this straight edge and flip this over. Anytime you see me doing that, I'm just trying to utilize the already straight edge so I don't have to do as much cutting. All right, 2 pieces there. And I'll put this like this so I don't lose anything. Okay, and I've already cut these out, these foam pieces. Now I need to cut the main panel. I don't think any of these are going to be big enough. Let's see. Might have to do some Franken foam, which I love to do. Now you can either zigzag stitch this or you can use batting tape. In my tutorial, I use batting tape. Where did I put it? I've been using it a lot, so I may have used it all up. Let me just check. Does anyone else do this? I'm just gonna run and get another package. Okay, we have this in the shop if you need any. On my last tutorial, I did use it all, so I need to open a new package. Wrap it in plastic. All right, let's go. Now I might have to make this taller. So I'm going to give it a really straight edge. So if I need to add this way, I can. And this curly piece is making me mad. So I'm going to cut it away. There we go. Let's see where we're at. Okay, I just need a little bit more room on this side. A little bit more. So you're getting a whole bunch of tutorials in one here. There's the straight edge up there. I'm going to turn it so it's easiest for me to cut. It seems like a lot of prep, doesn't it? But you know what? I'd rather use up everything I've got than open a whole new package and have piles and piles of scraps. It's just the way I am. Like to be frugal where I can be. I'm never frugal on tips. I'm never frugal with charity, but I am frugal with things that I want to not, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think you get my point. A lot of experiences have shaped me in life, just like all of us, all of you, all of me, all of us. And I waitressed at Golden Corral when I was in my teens, and I also worked at Wendy's in my teens. And that is difficult. So I will never, ever yell at wait staff, get mad or rude with them, or skimp on a tip. I just don't, because I know how hard it is. Okay, well, there's one piece that I can use for a body, main body piece, and I need to cut one more. So I'll just use this guy as my template to cut out. Let me move all these other scraps. These are too small. I think these I can save. And I'm gonna try to put these two together, see how this goes. You need those nice, clean, straight edges for them to really marry well. This one needs to be straighter. There we go. See that slash? I'm just gonna put a piece of batting tape there, and then it'll be fine. I think we're almost there, but not quite. Yes, we are there. Yes, just barely. Can you see this? This way it fits better. Okay, just barely. All right. Whenever I'm sewing, I gotta get my hair off my face. Okay. Pin foam interfacing to all the exterior fabric panels except the top panels, and machine based. Well, this is fun. Okay, make sure you're working with your exterior panels. So for me, it's that Anna Maria, and I'm just gonna lay it on the top. Now, I will say this, and I didn't do this. If you're newer to sewing foam interfacing in your bags, you might want to cut out your foam larger than your piece, baste it, and then trim it down, okay? That is a tip that I often use because sometimes it wants to shrink when you're sewing it. But I'm gonna iron it here and hope for the best. I hope I don't mess this up. All right. All right, so a base stitch for me is way up here at 5. Now you can pin. That might help actually. Let me throw a few pins in here. I'm just gonna put 4, 1 in each corner. Ironing the fabric to the foam does help. I do not recommend fusible foam. It tends to wrinkle and pucker and it doesn't look good. It's not easy to get out. So try not to use fusible foam and just iron it so that it kind of grips the foam, but it doesn't fuse. All right, we're gonna go to the machine and I'm gonna hopefully not trip on all these wires I've got. Okay, here we go. There's one. Sometimes I hear the machine change tune and I know something's up. Usually it means I broke my bobbin thread, which, yep, I did this time. I don't know why, but sometimes when I get going too fast, I'll break a thread on this 18 QVP. I'm gonna take the pins out. See how the fabric pulled in a little bit? So I'm gonna trim that foam away because I don't want to assume that I'm sewing the fabric in the seams when I'm only grabbing the foam. I always trim the excess away. I learned that lesson the hard way. Okay, that looks good. Now we need to do these. I did fuse this to it as well. You don't need to do that, but I tend to. And I'll tell you why. I've had foam pucker on me before and it just makes me so mad. So I have just learned, use a little bit of fusible. If using quilting cotton, I've got to plug my iron in. Right. I'm gonna turn my stitches back down right now because I know I'll forget. And I'm gonna trim away the excess foam from the seams. That one's good. That one's good. All right. Clean up my station a bit. All right. And we still have this, so, but it said, let's see what's next. For the top panels, we need to glue baste the foam in place so we can't see any basting stitches later. Match the long curved edge of the foam with the long curved edge of the top panel, leaving a 1-inch gap along the straight edge. And glue in place using a thin line of fabric glue along each edge. Okay, well, this is getting sewn in later, so I am going to probably use 505 spray. Or Elmer's glue stick. Could use that. Oh no, I forgot that. Okay, so it goes up there and down here. I'm just gonna fuse a tiny bit more here. I didn't realize I didn't catch that. That's the curved edge. Now, if I iron this, it'll hold immediately. And I know this because I do this all the time with quilt binding. Okay, step 3, we're gonna do the zippered panel, the zippered pocket. So grab one of your lining panels, give it a quick press if you need to. Sometimes when you set these pieces aside, they can crease up. So just give it a quick press, it always helps. All right, I'm gonna grab my zipper window template. Oops. Okay, let's do the zipper pocket. We're going to fold this in half and make a centering crease. I'm gonna mark mine with pen so that you can see it, okay? And then we're gonna mark 2 inches down from this top edge. So that's there. And then I'm gonna line up this centering crease with the centering marking on my zipper template. And I'm gonna put that opening top edge right on that line and go 3.5 over. 1, 2, 3.5. And same on this side. 1, 2, 3.5. And I'll draw the bottom line, and there's my zipper opening. Darken it up here for you a bit. Okay, here's the zipper opening. So this is step 3. Okay, there is, and remember I'm doing the handbag. Now on the right side of the main panel, pin a short edge of the zippered pocket panel, which I cut out earlier. It's this. We gotta flip this over. You can kind of see faint lines here. We're gonna line this up right side down. The main panel and zipper pocket panel will be right sides together. The edges of the pocket panel should go past the rectangle box by about 1 inch at the top. So if I put this on this line, I know that my pocket top needs to be about 1 inch above that. Now this is something you do absolutely want to pin. You don't want this baby moving. Flip over so you're looking at the rectangle you drew. See, my pins are clearly out of the way. And so right along the rectangle that we marked, okay? So let's do this. You know what I do. I like to share all the tips that I use. Make sure your pocket is good and not flipped up, not crinkled. I'm going to turn my stitch length down to 2. Actually, right here in this corner, I'm going to turn it to 0. And I'm going to go almost, it's like 0.02. So I make a bunch of stitches, turn it back up to 2. And so here's the corner. I'm going to turn it back down to like 0.2. Excuse me. Lift my knee or lift my foot, keep the needle down. Go down a few and back. Okay, now I can turn it back up to 2. Same thing here. Back down. Reversing just a smidge and then going forward just a smidge. Same thing here. I'm reinforcing that corner. Back up to 2. Back down 0.2 or 3. Needle down, lift the foot, and come back up. Back up to 2. And there. That'll give a really nice looking zipper opening. Really crisp. So now you can remove those pins before you stab yourself and hurt. Make yourself bleed. Don't do that. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to cut just like we usually do, and I'm going to use a smaller rotary and my zipper template as a ruler. Oh, that blade is terrible. Wow. You shouldn't have to press really hard with your blade. So if you're having to press hard, just go ahead and change it. Snip way up into those corners, not through the stitching though, but as close as you can get. All right, you can trim those triangles away if you like. And now we're going to push it through. I'm going to push this pocket through. Let me get my ironing pad because we're going to need it. Now take your time here and really press this well and get all these edges super clean. If you're having puckering here, I don't know if we can zoom in anymore, but this one stitch is giving me an issue. I'm going to pop it. And now the pocket is going to sit flat. always flip it over and make sure everything looks good from the front. This little stitch, I can see it. Just gonna pop it. It's not gonna affect the integrity of the window as long as I don't do too much. As long as I don't pop too many stitches. Okay, there we are. Awesome. I'm gonna be nitpicky and pop this little guy here. There. Okay. Now we're going to attach the zipper. Now, rather than go by what a pattern tells me when it's not my pattern, I always do this. And I want to give myself a little leeway because some of these earlier written patterns, we didn't have zipper by the yard then, or it was very scarce, and now it's so popular. So sometimes you need a little bit longer. This one is, yeah, this is about 8.5 inches that I'm using here instead of 7. So just be aware of that when you go to use zipper by the yard. I'm gonna put double-sided sticky tape on here. Such an easy way to get my zipper sitting nicely the first try. All right, now I like to do it from the front because then I know that my pull is on the right side for me. I can't tell you the number of times I put it in with the pull over here, and that's not what I wanted. It's still usable. It's not a big deal, but you know, we want it to be as perfect as we can get it for us, just for us. All right, I'm gonna press it down. And now you will want to use a matching thread, and we're gonna sew all around here. If you have a zipper foot, it's much easier to put in a zipper using a zipper foot. I'm not gonna use one because I don't want that little tidbit to stop you. But you know what I am gonna grab? My stiletto. I'm getting close to that pull, so I'm gonna leave my needle down and lift my foot, move the pull out of the way, and resume sewing. Here we go. And the pocket is flat underneath. It's totally flat. We haven't sewn the pocket together yet. You can always roll this up a bit. Getting close to that pull, I leave my needle down, lift my foot. I'm just gonna scooch this zipper closer together. Go right across the teeth, because these are nylon teeth. Even though they look metal, they're not. And we're back at the beginning. are, trim your threads. Now we're going to bring this up to meet that top edge. And we're going to fold the main body out of the way and sew this top edge. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll fold the main body out of the way and sew each side. So I'm going to do all that with you here. Make sure these top edges are meeting. You can pin, you can use whatever you need to help you. I find with a small pocket like this, it's okay for me to just hold and sew. Remember that body, the main body, is folded down out of the way. I'm going to take it out, make sure that I caught everything. Then I'm going to do the side. I'm going to start from the top and go down, folding that main body out of the way. Now the other side. Now, if you feel better to cut away some of this excess, if you don't want to sew over the teeth for any reason, come in and cut it away. All right, now let's sew this side down. All right. So now we have got a functioning pocket. Fun. Give it a quick press and you can turn to page 4. All right, now we are on step 4, the handles. So remember those long strips that I was interfacing? That's what we're working with here. So first, we're going to fold it in half, matching long edges, wrong sides together, and press. So this is how pretty much all the patterns I've written or done do a handle. So I'm going to start down here at this really Frankenstein end and fold it in half. And I'll just keep moving it down. And this is making a centering crease, and it is helpful. Sometimes I've skipped this and then I'm like, ugh, regret that. Okay, now we're gonna fold each long edge in to meet that center crease. If you have a bias tool maker, that little contraption, you could also use that. All right, and now we're going to fold it over one more time. And this will be 3/4 of an inch wide now. Now, if you have to fold differently in order to fit your particular hardware, do it. I do that all the time just to use what I've got in my stash. You can absolutely adjust your handles however you want. It may look a little bit different than the cover, but that's okay. And honestly, no one's going to be able to tell if you do 3/4 of an inch or 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch. Like, it's just not going to be something people notice. Okay. Awesome. Now I'm going to edge stitch. And then we'll repeat for, I'm gonna edge stitch each long edge, and then I'll do the same exact thing to the other handle, and I'll fast forward that. Be cognizant not to pull on your strap. It can be tempting. With a long piece like this, it's very easy to do. Don't do it. Now, this is what I do. I don't just turn and go back up. I flip this over and sew the same direction that I did before, and that prevents twisting, as does not pulling. I'm just going to trim off these ends and do the same thing with the other strap, and then I'll meet you back here to trim these up. Okay, so if I take you overhead, you can see that we have 4 of the 12-inch lengths and 2 of the 16. Is that right? 16-inch lengths. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside, and I'm going to grab a main panel and fold it in half to make another centering crease. Now this can be a little bit tricky with the foam in there, but I can see it, and I'm just gonna draw it with some chalk so you can see it too. Here's 11 inches up, which I'm also going to mark. All this chalk will come off very easily, so I'm really not worried about it at all. Now, from this centering line, we are going to measure over. I need my smaller ruler though. We're gonna measure over 1.75 inches and make a mark. And the same on this one, 1.75, but you know what? It's gonna be easier doing it this way for my brain. All right. Now the handle connector, we're gonna take, oops, not the long one. We need the short ones, 2 short ones here. And we're gonna use our hardware. So I'm going to slide the piece where it's sort of welded here. There's like a line. I want to cover that up. We're going to fold it down about 1 inch and stitch. Okay. Now, for me, I like to use a little bit of fray check there, but this is going to be face down, so I'm not going to worry about it too much now. But no, if you have some fray check, gosh, Oh, Mercy Jones. If you have some fray check, it's nice to hit that raw edge with it. All right, let's do the next one. And I'm going to trim my threads. Now remember, to not see this sewing, just use the same color of thread. Okay, so now if you reference your diagram, you can see the picture up here. You're going to pin the connector to the main handle. Raw edges meet down here. And then we're going to sew it on, and we're going to cross right there where we already crossed, sewing the hardware on. I like to put my pins right in the middle because then I can leave them there while I'm sewing. Here's this line. Okay, let's sew these straps down. You can go right over that stitching you've already done. Just think if you use like a dark navy thread, how cool this would look. You're going to come up here close. I'm not sewing over any pins. I'm going to cross and go right back down. Using that previously stitched line as my guide. All right, now the next one. Take my pins out. And there's one side. Remember, your stitching will look awesome because you'll use the same, like a similar color thread. Can't find my words. Now let's do the other side. All the same steps. trim all your threads. Oh, I should have attached that one better. Oh well. Okay, so now we're gonna set that aside and we're gonna put in the main zipper. This is step 5. Pin both exterior top panels right sides together, matching all edges along the straight long raw edges of the panels. So that's the section without the foam. Stitch 1/2 inch down the straight long edge with a 1 inch seam allowance, but not through the foam. Backstitch and stitch again. Okay. And then we're gonna baste that middle part because that's where we're gonna have that zipper going. And then we're gonna sew a normal stitch at the end again. So let's grab our panels, the exterior panels. This is a straight edge, this is a straight edge. And we're gonna line them up like this. And then here, we're gonna sew a normal stitch length to here. We're gonna baste all this, and then we're gonna sew a normal stitch length here. Is it 1 inch? This is a 1 inch seam allowance. So right here, and then this is gonna be based. 1/2 inch away from the end. Okay, so 1/2 inch, so down to here. Based. Okay, so this must be 1/2 inch. So right to here, normal, and then this is based. All right, so let's use some pins to hold these layers together. All right. And remember, it's 1 inch in, so it's gonna feel huge, but there's a purpose to this. Okay, now switch it to a base stitch, which is your largest stitch. And then we're coming up to that last 1/2 inch. Turn it back down to your normal stitch length. And there we are. So I'm going to take my pins out. I want you to see how big that seam allowance is. It's pretty giant. We're going to press that open. Okay, now I've got my, oh, I want to re-put that on. That wasn't. gonna put this together and sew here so this is easier to work with. Yeah, makes it a little bit easier. All right, let's get our tape out. And it's gonna be 1/2 inch to about here. So for zipper by the yard, my zipper for the handbag size is about 19.5 inches. I may need to adjust that, but we'll see. For now, that will be good. I'm going to use my double-sided sticky tape to help me out. Okay, now we're going to go to the machine and we're going to sew about 3/8 of an inch away. As an alternative, you could sew from this side. Just make sure that your bobbin thread matches this fabric. It's really up to you. I think that's what I'm going to do, and I can see better. Just be really careful that you're not going to sew over your pull. So I'm going to make sure that this is over and out of the way. There's what it looks like from the top. When the zipper is sewn along both edges, use your seam ripper to remove the basting over the zipper teeth. Whereas I'm going to use my scalpel. Just be careful that you're not touching your fabric. It might be safer to use my seam ripper. Ball side down. I should probably just do that. That's much safer. There. And there's our zipper. See that? I think I can take it up a little further down here. Yep. There we go. You can get all those threads out of the way. Yay! Now we're going to repeat step 5 to sew the lining top panels together. So let's grab those. Right sides together. And we're going to do the same thing where we baste in the middle and keep it normal stitch length, 1/2 inch on each end. So I'm going to mark it because I know I'll forget. There's that. 1 inch in is way down here. I should just use a ruler and draw that in real quick. Okay, and then 1/2 inch is here. So normal stitch length, baste, normal stitch length. Okay, I'm gonna go up. Excuse me. Back down. Now we're gonna press that open. All right, looks good. And let's unpick a couple of stitches here. Turn it over, use the ball side down. And go down to that 1/2 inch mark. Here it is. If you want to, come in here and get all these little threads out. It'll just take a second. All right, let's set these aside for the moment. Okay, we can do this. We are on step 6. We're going to assemble the main panels. So I want you to grab your 2 exterior panels and place them right sides together. Make sure you're lining up this bottom edge and put some pins in there to hold it together. Now we're going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance, which for me, I need to draw because it's just not natural for me to do 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna draw this on and we're gonna sew all the way across there. Right, there's our seam allowance, but we need to trim it down a bit. And I like to use my longer shears. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm just trimming away some of that bulk. You'll be glad later that you did this. You don't need to worry about how much. Don't go too much, you know, get a little of that bulk out, okay? Set that aside. Now we're gonna take the lining main body panels. Where's my other one? Oh my gosh. Here it is. One has the zipper pocket. Place them right sides together, lining up that bottom edge again. And this seam allowance is going to be 5/8 of an inch. All right, let's sew that. And there's that one. And then we're going to trim this and we'll press it open. Now we're gonna fuse our bottom support, that Peltex, right in the center of this. I have not cut mine down yet, so I've got this large piece. Let me figure out where I need to cut that. Pellon. 5 by 11.5. Okay, did I cut this at 5 inches? Ooh, just barely. This way first, 11.5. I know you were probably screaming there, thinking I was gonna cut my bag. I saw it, I saw it. Okay, there's my support piece. Pellon, this one is fusible on one side, the scratchy side. So we're gonna center it and press it in place. Let me turn this so it's good. Okay. Now, this can be kind of sticky, so a lot of times I like to use a pressing cloth with Pellon, Peltex. You want at least a 3/4 inch gap here and on this end. And sometimes it takes a little bit to grab. There, it's fused. All right, let's set that to the side for a moment. Okay, grab your side pockets, lining and exterior. They look a lot like the bottom side panels, don't confuse them. Side pockets, this is step 7. And what we're going to do is take a lining and an exterior and put them right sides together. And we're just going to sew across that top edge. Did I sew that with 1/2 inch seam allowance? Ugh, almost. It's almost 1/2 inch, but let's do it right. Let's draw. I'm just a little shy of that. Oh, this one was closer. Let's do it right. All right. Trim the seam allowance. And let's turn right sides out. And we'll press this really well. Sometimes what I like to do here, and this is not in the pattern, but I press to set those stitches and press that seam allowance to one side because we trimmed it. And then I fold it over and press and make sure that that is nice and crisp at the top, and it is. Just checking it on both sides. All right, now we're gonna top stitch along the fold and then we'll baste around the curves. I'm gonna increase my stitch length. All right, there's one. Turning my stitch length back down. Back up to a base. And I'm going to turn my stitch length down before I walk away. And there are those. I'm just cleaning up my edges a bit so that when I go to put this bag together, I don't think I'm sewing fabric and I'm only hitting interfacing. I've done it before, so I just clean up my edges every time. Okie doke, now we are on to step 8, bottom side panels. So we're gonna match the top straight edge of an exterior bottom side panel. That's this little guy here. The exterior is the one with the foam. We're going to match that with the zipper panels. Okay. Got to trim my edges up here a bit. Excess foam be gone. Okay. Here we are. Okay, so now one will go down here, one will go up here. I'm going to use clips. And we're going to sew right across here, but let me check seam allowance. Okay, so I need to do a 1/2 inch. All right, here we go. Oh, make sure that this is not anywhere near where you're sewing. Okay, there we are. Press the seam allowance towards the bottom side panel, which is that way. And then I bet we're going to top stitch there. So that is, let's see, press the seam allowance towards the bottom side panel and top stitch. Yep. All right, so the seam is this way towards this, and we're going to stick it, we're going to sew down to stick it to that side always. So I'm going to put it on my machine. You'll be using a matching thread. Seam allowance towards this guy, so this way. All right. Cool. So we did the exterior. Now we'll repeat that step for the lining. Make sure you're grabbing the little guys. Now since we're here, let's just press this seam and top stitch right now. So the seam is going towards this end. Done. Now let's do this side. And we're gonna go this way. All right, so we've got an exterior and a lining one. All right, what's next? This is still the same step. This is still step 8, but there's a big old chunk of paragraphs here that we have to work through. All right, the next paragraph in step 8 is attaching these pockets to the exterior. I'm going to call this gusset. I mean, that's what it's not a gusset, it's the top panels, but yeah, don't listen. just follow the directions. So what we're doing, now this is going to go here, but we have to first find the center. And find the center here. So I can see it there. What happened to my chalk? I'm gonna match those centers. And then because the pocket is bigger and it's gonna bubble out so we can put stuff in it, we have to do this first. So we're gonna match the centers and pin, and then match the raw edges. Am I being clear? So what happens, see how this is bigger? You kind of pull it in and match the raw edges, and this allows the pocket, once it's sewn on, to bubble up so we can fit things in here. Capiche? This is exactly what I do in my Trina backpack pattern. This is how I do the exterior side pockets. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, I could use clips, I suppose. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same down here. Pin it there first. And then I'm gonna match these corners and bring this up. Bring this up. Now, one thing I want you aware of is making sure that this is straight across and it's not like wonky or something. I know it seems evident, but sometimes when you're really busy sewing, you don't think about that, and then it is wonky. Okay, that one looks good. Okay, here we go. Let's sew this on. Don't worry too much if you have a crease in the seam allowance, it's not going to show. All right, let's do this one. Trying to ease this a bit. Ugh. Okay. Come on now. kind of like an oven mitt. Okay. Okay, now we're on step 9, and that is adding the piping. Again, I'm using pre-made piping so that I don't have to make it. If you're using pre-made piping, she gives a great tip in the pattern that you want the stitching on the piping to hit at 1/2 inch so that you don't, or 1/2 inch seam allowance, so you don't see it later. Now, I'm going to take you overhead. Always, when we're doing piping, we kind of leave a little tail here and then put it on like this, okay? For me, you know what I like to do whenever I can. That's right. I'm gonna use some double-sided sticky tape. I sure am. Tools are there to help you. So use them. Use them whenever you can. And yes, it's a lot, but if it helps me achieve a good result the first time, you can bet your booty I'm using it. Okay, there we are. Now, on these curves, I might have to hit this tape with an iron. In fact, I'm just going to do it real quick because then it seals onto the fabric really quickly and I won't have to keep pressing. You just barely have to tap it. There we are. All right. Now the cording is on the inside. It's the raw edge that is on the raw edge or the outside. But remember to give yourself a little tail here. And I'm going to check my placement just to make sure I'm at 1/2 inch. Where did my little hem gauge go? Who knows? Oops. Okay, so I could move it in a little bit more. I think it would have been okay, but let's stick to the pattern instructions. There we go. Piping is made on the bias, so it'll go right around these curves. If you need to coax it with your little mini iron, you can do that. And here I'm coming back around to where I started, and I'm going to give myself about an inch tail here as well. Because the way we connect these is one runs off, and then this piping will come up here and we'll curve it off, and it'll look great. Okay, here we go. Let's add the piping. I'm going to flip this one up so that I'm starting with this guy. Now, if you have a piping foot, use it. Put it on and use it. It'll be easier to attach your piping. I do not, so I'm going to do my best. I might want to grab my stiletto to have near. This stitching will not be seen when we sew the bag together. Coming around the last curve, I'm gonna make that pipe cording meet up here as if it's kissing the other one. I know it's really hard to see with the black. I don't think you're gonna be able to see it. Can you see how the, no. Now we can trim those ends. It seems like my stitches got really big right here for unknown reasons, so I'm just going to make sure that that's going to behave. Okay. All right, so you can just get it on there. Something that's nice is if you can stitch, maybe with your zipper foot, if you don't have a piping foot, right on that stitching that they did to add the piping. Mine isn't quite that close, but I wish I would have gotten it that close. But when I put this together, I'll make that work. Okay, so now we're on step 10, assemble. So exciting. Okay. Fold the exterior main panel in half, matching. Oh, I love this. I love how we do this. Okay, so let's take our main panel. Oh no, I have to show you what happened and I have to fix this or it's gonna bug me. Look what I did here. I didn't catch that. So I'm gonna fix that right now because that has to line up. This must have shifted when I sewed it down. See that? This one is close enough. That's fine. But this one I have to fix. Which I can still do. So there we are. We're gonna put it there. And the reason I am sharing this with you is because I've made a million bags and see, it happens. It just happens sometimes. So never feel bad if you see a mistake, have to go back and fix it. That's just part of it sometimes, you know, it just happens. I worked all day and here it is, 9 o'clock at night. No wonder, right? It's okay. I'm not gonna get mad at myself over that. All right, let me fix this. sew that back together. Make sure that those are matching. There we are. And I can trim all these excess threads away later. You know, I'm not going to worry about it right now too much. And remember, yours will be matching threads, so you won't even see how many times you've stitched. Okay, let's turn this over. Centering mark with the centering mark. Centering mark to this seam center. So it's like this, like a little arc. And then we're going to do one center mark up here to this centering mark. Don't do the other side yet. Okay. Now we're going to do this side with this centering mark. Okay, now we're going to do this side. And just remember, we have to take the correct seam allowance to make sure that that piping is hitting and sitting correctly. And don't feel bad if you don't get it on the first go, all right? Give yourself some room to grow, and you can always sew it again on this seam allowance. You can always do it again. Okay, this is assembled. Take a quick peek everywhere, make sure everything is caught appropriately. All right. Okay. Okay, see that stitching there? We're going to sew right on top of that, I think. That's what I think we're going to do. I hope that's going to be good enough for me. I'm going to try it. might be easiest if you put on your zipper foot to do this, just because of that piping. And you're gonna have to kind of smush your bag around. Take a breath. I know that was challenging, but the way you get better is to get through it and to just do it. I guarantee mine is probably not perfect here. Well, I mean, of course it's not perfect. I mean, good enough for me. Yeah, this corner I've got to redo. I didn't get that very well. Well, oh, my stitching got all big on that corner. I must, sometimes on those rounded corners, you got to turn it down to like a 2, 2.5, because a 3 is just too big sometimes. And I think I was in vinyl mode. Probably will need to do that on some other corners too. If you have to unpick anything to match those edges a little better, just do it now. It'll be so much easier to just do it now. I think that's what happened to me, is I did not go down in my stitch length on those rounded corners, and so the stitches got too big and popped. I'm down to a 2 on the stitch length here. Fixed and fixed. Okay, good. So now did I get everything down here? Sometimes I pull the seams to see if anything didn't get. Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of light right here. So I'm just going to go over that again. If I can see light, that means that the seam is not good to go. I'd rather fix it now than when the lining is already in. Okay, there we go. Let's turn this baby out. Okay, so I've got the outer bag here. I'm going to set it aside. And we're going to do the same thing to attach the zipper panel to the lining body. I'm just going to trim a couple of threads here. So we need to find our centers, right? So there's that. There's that. And then on this side, and on this side. Okay. Center mark with that center seam. And this center up here with this center. I'm going to pin this side first. Okay, let's attach this. Okay, step 11, we're going to attach the lining. So we just sewed this lining up and we've got to put it inside here. So I'm just going to push it down in here. And then we want to remember our centering marks. I'm going to attach it here. I'm going to pin these together. Now this can be a little bit challenging. You just want that fold of the lining far enough away from the zipper teeth to work, so the zipper still works, but you want it on the zipper tape as we attach it. Now, I can get pretty far down with my machine, but down here at these corners, these side ends, I usually have to hand stitch that. Some people glue it and call it a day. I like to hand stitch it. It just feels more secure to me, but you do you. I know some people that glue this whole thing in and sell their bags, but I don't. I don't do that. Okay, now this side, I'm going to find that center. Line it up here. I think the center I like to put a pin. Just make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And I'm going to lift this up and get it as close to there as I can. You know, I hear people say, oh, I don't like drop-in linings, or I don't like this, or I don't like binding, or I don't like that. Well, usually that's a sign that it's just a skill you need to practice, so you should do it the most until you do like it. And you'll like it when you're good at it. I know that's tough medicine to hear, but I'm only going to tell you the truth. Sometimes I don't even want to hear it, right? The truth. But it is what it is. Okay, now I'm going to center this. I can feel that Peltex, and I need that to be in the center of the bottom of the bag. So I'm going to make sure that it's sitting correctly before I go sew this in. And we're almost done. Oh, this is going to be so cool looking. You see that? Yay. Okay. So I'm going to start down here as far as I can. I don't know why my nose keeps running today. I don't have a cold. I'm not sick. I'm going to get down here as far as I can and sew with my machine to as far as I can. Any gaps that are left, I'm going to take it home later tonight and stitch it up. So after we sew this down, all we have to do is attach our handles and we're done. So we're almost there. Hang in there. You've got this. Remember, you want to use your matching thread. I am not, because this is a tutorial. See that stitching we already did? I'm just eyeing that and going right over top of it. If you're using a matching thread, you won't even be able to see any of that. getting down here close to the edge. Wow, I'm way down there. I might not have much to sew, if anything, actually. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna have to start here, and I kind of turn it, back stitch a bit, just a stitch or two, and here we go on this side. Well, hot diggity dog, that's in. Okay, one thing to be aware of that I didn't catch is I did accidentally sew a little bit of my lining into that seam, and I did not mean to do that. Must have been when I was smushing things around. So I've got to re-sew that piece. Let me just do that real quick. So this part, my lining was smushed over a bit. So I just unpicked it, and I'm just gonna re-sew from there to there. Maybe what I'll do is look at the lining so that I don't do it a second time. Not bad. Wow, it's in. I'm so happy. I've never been this happy to finish. Probably because it's so late at night. I know, don't lick your bags, but I am right now. Judge away, I don't really care. This is for me. It's not going to be gifted to anyone, so they won't get my cooties. Okay, let's attach these handles and peace out. So the handles are going to be like this. So I'm going to stick that one through there and sew it down. I'm going to put a little clip there to hold it. And then make sure you don't twist it. Let's go overhead. And it's going to go under this one. And then the first one is super easy. But then you've got to make sure that the second one is exactly the same length, or you're going to have a lopsided little bag here. Okay, so let me preliminary put this one on, but I know I'm probably going to have to move it around a bit after I sew the first side down. Here's this side. I can sort of measure now, but the way I measure, I always close the bag. Let me get rid of these threads. Always zip it closed because that's how it's going to sit. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's really good. I can't believe I got that on the first try. I never get it on the first try. There is a long thread here kind of like a long chinny chin hair, and it's gonna bug me. So I gotta cut that. And these two here. Okay, almost done. Let's go sew it. Let's go sew our handles and we'll be done. You could also do rivets there. That might be kind of cute, actually. Sewing would be faster. But I think rivets there might be really cute. Should we do it? Should we do that? Is my rivet press machine here? Hello? 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 Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's do rivets. Now, you can just sew this and you'll be done. But I like a rivet. I've got my rivets in this bag. I like these big ones. Here they are. Okay. So let's just hope I can center these correctly, okay? Because it's late. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Who read that book as a child? Should I take you overhead to watch this? I'm going through all the layers there. Then I'm going to stick my rivet right through. Hopefully it's not too long of a rivet. Oh, I really hope that's not too long because these are extra long posts. You know what I should do? I have a feeling, my conscience is telling me that post is too long. So what I'm gonna do, it's a little cheat sheet. I'm gonna fold this baby up, this little sausage, just to add a little bit of layering in there. Because sometimes when your gut is telling you something, you have to listen. You have to listen. Mine tells me all the time that it wants ding-dongs. And so I allow a ding-dong now and then. Ding-dongs are those chocolate cupcakes. In case you think I'm being dirty, I'm not. It's a hostess thing. Okay. That added some layering, but maybe that looks really bad. Actually, that doesn't look very good. I should have thought of this before. I didn't. Maybe I can put it on the outside and fold in the raw edges. I do have a rivet press tutorial in case you need it on my YouTube channel. Oh, it did work. Okay. Well, let's carry on. I'm trying to center this. Don't eyeball it like I am. Like, never ever do this. I'm only doing this because I'm so over it. And I want to go home. There's the God's to honest truth, okay? Awesome. I really like that look, don't you? Groovy. Let's do this side. There is a cam bundle at Cam Snaps, K-A-M, camsnaps.com with the rivet sizes and the dies that I use and the press. So head on over there if you'd like to get a bundle. I use this size rivet all the time. It's a 12 millimeter. It's my favorite. And I think you can save, I think the sale is still on, 15% if you use my link, which we've got in the makers group. And I can send it in an email if you want to email in, or I'll put it somewhere on the website. I'm not sure why. Wait, I think I do have it on the website under affiliate links. Yeah, definitely hit these edges with some fray check. I'm gonna do that when I get home as well. And there they are. They're set. They're ready to rock. Pick up all your pins and your clips so you don't lose anything. Now I'm gonna shape this and press it probably tomorrow, honestly. And there she is. I'm happy with her. She's cute. And this is the handbag size. There is a larger size. I think the larger one might be the cover, the traveler size. So, you know, I thought, well, I want to use it as a purse. So that's what I'm going to do. I hope you had fun. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. I hope you feel the freedom to push your skills. The only way to get better is to just get in there and do it over and over and over again. Trust me, you will get better with experience and practice and time. And that's what it takes, is just some time and patience with yourself, okay? All right. Thank you for being here. Peace, love, sewing.